Scientists just confirmed what was supposed to be impossible. Beneath the streets of Naples, Italy, a 9-kilometer underground magma highway has physically connected two of the most dangerous volcanoes on Earth, Campi Flegrei and Vesuvius. The same Vesuvius that buried an entire city in hours. The same Campi Flegrei that nearly wiped out human life in Europe 39,000 years ago. Now linked, now sharing pressure, now breathing as one. If one goes, both go. It started on March 13th, 2025. At 3:42 in the morning, an earthquake cracked open the ground beneath Pozzuoli. Within minutes, 847 emergency calls flooded dispatchers. People were reporting steam erupting from cracks in streets, basements, and parking lots. But the cracks were following a fault line, one that dropped 9 kilometers straight into the earth and pointed directly at Mount Vesuvius.
And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to see something we're going to see the shock and awe. And that's whenever I saw the earthquakes again. And the Lord said, watch the fish from the deep, Brandon. They're coming. From the deep. They're going to start washing up on the shore, and it's going to be a sign right before major things start to take place. You're going to see these major fish. There's going to be earthquakes in the Ring of Fire. There's going to be earthquakes in Italy. And what did I tell you about where it was in Italy? I said it's on show them. An underwater volcano in Italy right off the coast. And I said it will cause a tsunami wave that kills 300,000 people in just a single moment with water and an explosion from a volcano. Today, I said, you'll start to see the signs. And I heard the angels of the Lord, whoa, 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 to them. I saw it. Where did it happen today? A 6.0 earthquake, 8 miles off the coast of Nepal, Italy, at 6:03 p.m. Do y'all see that? Do you see the map? It's where I told you it was going to hit. I said, there'll be tremors. There'll be signs right before, and I saw a major shaking of Rome.
It is all earthquakes. These are all earthquakes of the last week.
Yes.
We were there in March. There had been around 2,000 earthquakes in February alone. Most are so small they do not make news.
And I said it will shake the Vatican and tear up the Vatican City. And this will be a sign, the Lord said, that I'm bringing revival and a shaking to the Catholic Church. You remember the word? Does anybody remember the word? About the volcano outside? And I even told you where it was going to hit. That's exactly the spot to a T. There, you can't get any more accurate than that. That's what the Lord said. I told you it was underneath the ocean. The Lord said, pay attention to the ocean floor. There's volcanoes down there that are about to erupt.
Data shows that the quake opened a deep underground conduit extending 9 kilometers into the earth. This pathway is not sitting dormant. It is actively funneling pressure waves from Campi Flegrei's magma chamber directly toward Vesuvius.
I said pressure on the earth. Remember when I told you I saw the sun's going to become very active in the days ahead and there's going to be major earthquakes? I said at the same time the war and the birthing pains would go hand in hand. I said watch Italy. Watch Italy, watch the Ring of Fire, watch Japan. It will be divided. And the mountain there will blow its top. And it will cause a catastrophic event to take place in Japan. Off the coast of Oregon, I saw a massive volcano going off. And it causes a tsunami wave going inland into Portland, that area. And I saw a canary in the coal mine. And I saw gases on the coastline coming up and the people, and I saw a gas coming up out of the earth as this thing gets ready to happen. And I saw a canary in the coal mine, and the canary was dead in the bottom of the cage. As I saw these angels coming out of a portal, they came down and they were waking up the people. It was in the middle of the night, and they were waking up the people, and they were summoning them to come. Something was about to happen. They were warning, the angels were warning them. But there was a gas coming up. And the Lord said, remember a canary in the coal mine.
Tens of thousands of people were evacuated from Pozzuoli during the height of the crisis. Alongside the shaking comes something residents describe as the smell of danger. Fumaroles and bubbling mud pools scattered across the caldera release noxious clouds of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide directly into the air. The atmosphere thickens with an acrid, suffocating stench that locals compare to rotten eggs mixed with burning chemicals. Residents report persistent headaches, waves of nausea, and burning eyes that do not clear for days. The gases are not just unpleasant. At high concentrations, they are lethal.
Open eye vision again, and he showed me, he said, there's a massive volcano that's about to happen, and I saw a coastline, but it's on the water, and there's a massive volcano there. And he told me, he said, this is going to happen. And he said, there will be signs right before there's a massive explosion. I saw it. I saw this thing explode huge. And he kept having me pray over the ocean, the water. There's something about the water, the ocean around Italy there's something very dangerous. There's like a volcano in that water. And this is going to shoot off, and it's going to cause major devastation.
Within minutes, emergency dispatchers receive 847 calls. Every single caller reports the same thing: steam erupting from cracks that appeared overnight in streets, basements, and parking lots across the city. The cracks are not random. They are not scattered. They follow a single, precise fault line cutting through the city like a scar. A fault line that drops 9 kilometers straight down into the earth and points directly at Mount Vesuvius.
It's going to be very serious. And so I've been praying for the people of Italy to wake up. If they are Christian, if they're not, that they, where they're supposed to be, that they will leave when this thing goes off. There's a huge town or a city all on the edge of the water where I saw this volcano go off. And so there'll be signs, maybe even on the news in Italy, about some rumblings around that area, some earthquakes, some tremors, or something to pre-warn that something big is going to happen. Do not ignore this. Do not ignore this. It is very serious. What I saw is very serious. And if you have little tremors, if you start having a lot of tremors and you start seeing smoke or there's something going on, take heed. Take heed. Be warned, fair warned. I'm trying to tell you, this is going to be a major event, an end-time event.
Within 48 hours of the ground rupture, the signs of what had happened became impossible to ignore. Thermal monitoring stations along the newly formed fault line began registering temperature spikes of 12 degrees Celsius. That single reading told volcanologists something that made them stop cold. Magmatic fluids were not just present beneath the surface. They were moving, traveling, crossing the boundary between two volcanic systems that had operated independently for thousands of years. Campi Flegrei was already one of the most dangerous geological systems on Earth before March 2025. Then it found a partner. The events of March 2025 did not arrive without warning. The warning had been building for decades.
It is all earthquakes. These are all earthquakes of the last week.
Yeah. As magma and hydrothermal fluids push upward from the depths, the ground itself swells and rises in a process scientists call bradyseism. Ancient Roman ruins that once stood on dry land along the Pozzuoli harbor have slowly submerged beneath the water as the land tilts and shifts. The sea has literally swallowed pieces of history, while the ground prepares something far worse.
This is going to be a major event, an end-time event. I don't know when it's going to happen. I wish I did. I'm sorry. I only see part and I hear in part. And so, just stuff I'm praying over. That's basically what I had. Those are two little things. That was one of my first videos. One of the first warnings I brought to YouTube, trying to tell everybody there's a bit. And today we had a 6.0 in the same spot the Lord showed me, huh? Pretty interesting, huh? Right there. I said, it's right off the water. Pretty interesting. I told Brandon, I said, that's wow. I said, it's the same area right there in that area. Look at that. That was 3 years ago. Yeah. So, all glory to Jesus, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the last of the last days. We're seeing it. July the 5th of 2023. That's pretty incredible, huh? So, I saw the canary in the coal mine. I saw the angels coming. I said there'll be portals, there'll be signs in the heavens. You're going to start to see stuff, asteroids, all kinds of things. Been trying to warn everybody for a while. We're in the last of the last days. All glory to Jesus. I'm excited to be here, and I'm thankful that you all watch and you take these things serious and you pray. Because I know God has called me for such a time as this.
You first need to understand what is sitting beneath the streets of Naples. Not a volcano in the traditional sense, Not a cone-shaped mountain with a visible crater. Something far more dangerous. Something far harder to see coming. Campi Flegrei. The name translates directly to burning fields. It sits just west of Naples, stretching 8 miles in diameter, and it represents the accumulated destructive power of 600,000 years of eruptions that have repeatedly and violently reshaped the Italian landscape. 3 million people live directly above it right now. Most of them walk over it every single day, without thinking about what lies beneath their feet. The origin of Campi Flegrei's power traces back to 2 of the most catastrophic volcanic events in all of European geological history. The first occurred 39,000 years ago. The Campanian ignimbrite eruption ejected 200 cubic kilometers of volcanic material into the atmosphere in a single, apocalyptic release. To put that into perspective, imagine a wall of superheated ash and rock traveling at 300 miles per hour across the entire Italian peninsula. The eruption blanketed Eastern Europe in thick layers of debris and triggered global climate disruptions that lasted for years. Entire species disappeared. Human populations across Europe came close to complete collapse. Campi Flegrei did not just reshape a landscape, it nearly ended a chapter of human history.